Hey, what's up? It's Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, scoops.com, and brassringmedia.com. Check it out. But I'm flying solo today. Robert is on assignment, so I will be handling the reins as we talk a little bit of AEW Dynamite, the fallout of All In. Did it hold up? How did it do, you think? I have my thoughts, and I'll get to them. But did want to say hi to some folks in the chat here. We got Triple E saying, "What's up?" And he says, "Dom, thank you for actually making the Daily Hotline daily this week." Yeah. I do a show on Brass Ring Media, the Daily Wrestling Hotline. If you go to brassringmedia.com, I typically do a Monday through Friday daily hotline, 10 minutes, not long. And then I cover one topic. And that's it, but I have been very inconsistent with it the past couple of weeks. But I'm back on track. 4 days in a row, I've done a hotline. So check it out. The latest one talks about Shane Gillis and the ESPYs speech and how it ties into pro wrestling. So if you're intrigued, check it out. But yeah, were you intrigued by Dynamite? I'm kind of middle of the course with it all. I think somewhere in between. I like the venue that they were at in Chicago, whatever it was. It looked really cool. It looked like I think that's the neat thing about AEW going to these smaller venues is the venues most times do not have its own personality. So I think the venue looked really cool in Chicago. Listening today, this planner is full of weeds. Thank you, Cammy. The Wrestling Old Head. Oh, you didn't know? What's up, Dom in chat? Yes. Welcome, everybody. But, Hangman comes out. He's the champ. We finally see the title. Looks good. And Hangman cuts a promo. Big babyface promo. Thanking the fans for, what, like they were chanting, "You deserve it" or something. And he basically said, "No, not really, but you guys deserve it." And then he thanked a whole roster of wrestlers that helped defeat the Death Riders in their progression. Orange Cassidy, Edge, Cope, Jay White. Who else did he thank? He thanked somebody else before thanking Swerve Strickland, too. And that which got the big pop, obviously. I think he said Mark Briscoe. Oh, maybe he said just Samoa Joe. I guess the hotbed to interact with the chat is go to the Ad Free Shows YouTube channel. That's the hot one. But we do have You Didn't Know. We're on that one. And we're also on Rumor and Innuendo, our own YouTube channel. Oh, yeah, you're right. Paige didn't thank Cook. Good point. Wrestling Old Head did not thank Cook. Intriguing. But, so I thought the opening stuff was pretty decent. I liked it. If you're going to make Hangman a convincing babyface champion, that's how you start things off. And, I thought that was the right move to do in this manner. We did have opening match, Kyle Fletcher versus Mascara Dorada. Kyle Fletcher wins with a brain buster. If you have any qualms or questions as to if Kyle Fletcher may be in the doghouse, it doesn't necessarily seem that way. Still getting promoted and stuff like that, considering everything. But it's because I mean, you think about what happened with Hangman, with Adam Cole, and Fletcher did the apron power bomb to him at first. That looked really scary, and I guess he reportedly got a lot of heat for that. And then obviously this next concussion that happened too. You wonder if it took a lot of stuff. But Wrestling Old Head did add Fletcher almost took Dorada's head off with that big boot early on in the match. I was like, good grief. Yeah, boy, that's the thing. You don't want to get that reputation of hurting people constantly and things like that, especially in today's day and age, where athleticism is paramount. Now, when it came to the ECW days and stuff like that, kind of came with the territory. But nowadays, you need to really be conscientious of certain aspects when it comes to that. I mean, concussions weren't in the forefront, back in the ECW days. There wasn't precautions being taken. Now we're aware of a lot of this stuff, and and particularly with Cole and his history, you'd want to be careful with something like that. So, I didn't see the clothesline that he or big boot that he did to Dorada, and I don't want to label Fletcher as anything because I don't know all the ins and outs, so that wouldn't necessarily be fair. But I mean, you know, it can't be a good look for him to be injuring, like having that scary moment on the apron power bomb with Cole, and then concussing him and potentially, putting Cole's career in jeopardy there. So, and I know it's not everybody. It takes two to tango, and so I mean, it's not completely, in Fletcher's hands, but in a way, it is too at the same time. So, just want to be mindful of that. And unfortunately, what we got was what we got with Cole. We did get some backstage stuff with the Young Bucks, stripped of their EVP titles, so nobody pays them any respect. Kind of corny, kind of entertaining. I got a little bit of both from this. I thought, the Young Bucks they're good personalities, and some of the stuff is just like, yeah, I've seen this before. It felt like I've seen it before almost in some form or fashion, and it, them pairing up with the Don Callis family for now. I don't know. It just, you just need something. I think you need something more with the Bucks than that. And I think, if they getting away from the Callis family and trying to find something to spice it up a little bit with the Bucks is cool. But I did like them entering for the multi-man tag match, and basically like their music getting cut, and no pyro, and their video is basically like a Botchamania video and stuff like that. So that was pretty funny, and the lack of respect that people were giving them, I did enjoy that. What I didn't enjoy was the finish of this match and Bandito getting choked out by Hechicero. It's just like, he's your ROH champion. Shouldn't you protect him in a lot of ways? Yeah, I understand that you're building a feud between Hechicero and him, but you shouldn't have him being choked out in the middle of the ring, basically clean, right? I mean, it's a multi-person tag match, so it's anything goes in certain ways with that. And so I did not like that. I don't think that builds or makes Bandito feel like a credible threat. And it diminishes your ROH championship by doing that, even more so. So was not a fan. Was not a fan of that. C. Foster says, honestly, could have happened to anyone. No need to pile on Fletcher. I don't think I'm necessarily piling on C. Foster. I do think, though, and hey, yeah, to your point, I think it's easy for me to say I am just behind the computer. I am not in the ring doing what they're doing. So, and it can't happen to anybody. That is true. That is true. But I mean, if you're doing these certain spots and everything to that effect, it is, you got to be conscientious about it a little bit. But at the same time, I think Cole was probably feeling the same way, that he put himself out there too. And, it's an equal risk kind of thing going on there. So, you have a point, but also I don't think I'm necessarily piling on Fletcher, really. I just don't. It's just hey, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, so to speak. So I don't know. Wrestling Old Head says, I like the Bucks at times. I feel like their characters don't suit them, but it takes nothing away from how they put matches together. Yeah, I think, Robert has his feelings about the Young Bucks, but I like them a lot. I think when it comes down to the brass tacks of having a match, they are more so on the lines of more of the thought process, it seems, of making things make sense when they do these athletic things. And it's not yeah, there's a lack of selling when it comes to certain aspects of it all, but they don't make things look like they're taking their time to set things up. It's something happens, there's a reason that happens. Something happens, there's a reason that happens. And I think they are conscientious of that, where a lot of wrestlers today aren't necessarily thinking in regards to some of that stuff. And I think the Bucks are a little bit more conscientious of that stuff. I think they do have more of a, like, than your modern wrestler. They have more of a, like, a old school kind of mentality in certain ways than some of your modern wrestlers do. Bandito sold that really well. I mean, yeah, he did sell it well. I didn't like the finish. I mean, I just don't think you put your champion in that position. I think Bandito should be considered a big deal, and you're not doing that when you choke him out in the middle of the ring in a match, in a tag match of all things too, when he's your ROH champion. Let's see here. Willie, I'm going to get to one of your comments here in a second, but we just didn't get there yet. So hold on a second. Next up, we had a little backstage thing with MJF and the Hurt Business. I like what they had to say. I almost feel like they needed to be on the program today, besides the backstage segment. But MJF staking his claim for Hangman, saying he was happy that he doesn't have to go up against Moxley because he's been there, kind of done that, but he's got everything to prove with Hangman and stuff. That Page is not a good guy, and he'll beat him in the middle of the ring, and the future guaranteed shot is only a case of an emergency. So there you go. But I guess that was before the match, but where the Young Bucks and Hechicero and Josh Alexander won. We had Cope showing up. Said he didn't do it for Christian Cage. He did it because he wants to get back at FTR, and kind of called out Cage and their history, and how big of an idiot Cage has been, basically. So they're really he's really pushing back against Cage there and building this feud with FTR, who Stokely comes out with some security, which was one of them was Kevin Koo, by the way, wrestler from MLW, former wrestler from MLW, part of a good tag team with Dominic Garrini. He was there, but he got beat up. So did the other guard. And then Stokely got speared by Edge, or Cope. And so, yeah, it's fine. It's just it's fine. I mean, like, I think people are going to be excited to see Cope and Christian team back up again. And so that's neat, but it's just like, Edge, Cope showing up originally in AEW, felt like, okay, maybe they're trying to keep some momentum going. It just doesn't feel like they have that momentum anymore in general. So it's just like Cope and Christian teaming up feels like it's been a little overdue in a lot of ways, but we'll see what happens. I could still get back into the mix. Yeah, y'all see the trailer, WWE Unreal and Mortal Kombat 2 that dropped today. I know the Mortal Kombat trailer actually just dropped at noon, right when I started, so I haven't got to check it out. I did like the Johnny Cage teaser yesterday. Johnny Cage, I'm a huge fan of. He's like one of my favorite video game characters, actually, of all time. So I was really pumped to see they did a good job. Carl Urban was really, really good as Johnny Cage, even in that little moment that we got to see. Do FTR have tag titles by the time they face Cope and Christian? No Music Factory. I think do you need the titles? I don't think they're gonna have the titles like for this match. Because how are you gonna get it from the Hurt Syndicate to potentially FTR would be the thought, right? I mean, you could have Cope and Christian win it, but like, I don't know what match seems like a bigger deal: Hurt Syndicate and Christian and Cope, or Christian Cope versus FTR. I guess in some ways it can kind of be a coin flip. Maybe I'm overthinking it too much. So yeah, just like it's okay. Like the Cope promo felt like Dynamite overall. How I kind of felt about Dynamite in certain ways. Backstage, Mark Briscoe, loved his little promo he did. He was great. He always says some great stuff. Then we have Thekla, Queen Amanada, Chris Statlander, and Willow Nightingale in a fatal 4-way. $100,000. All right. So when you have $100,000 on the line every couple of weeks, kind of loses a bit of the intrigue or the, because, or in the believability at it at the same time. Like, shouldn't you have $100,000 match like a year? That would make it feel like a bigger deal. Like, yeah, $100,000 is a lot of money, especially for one match. So, I mean, those are some high stakes. Seems like a lot of money to be putting down every couple of weeks here. And it just doesn't, I don't think it really hits the bank the right way, if you will. But so, I mean, and it just takes away a little bit of the believability about it all. Like, yeah, you're putting 100,000. What about 25 grand? That seems like good too for one match, and a little bit more believable. $100,000 is a lot of money. It's a lot of cash, even in today's standards. All right. Hey, but you won't have to spend a lot of cash with Blue Chew. Guys, enter the room dick first. That's right. You enter it dick first. Big, rock solid, all that stuff. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet. It's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting. Like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk at the gym and a gym membership. Like Coach Purvis does for me. If you get that reference from a couple days ago. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. Guys, this isn't just about performance. This is about legacy or third legacy. Give her group chat something to talk about. When you lay it down, they're talking about how it gets up. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free, FREE. Just use promo code RUMOR at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety information. And big thanks for Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Yeah, baby. Blue Chew. Next up, we had Toni Storm's promo. And how she went up against Mercedes Moné. And she said she would give Mercedes Moné a rematch. She said that Luther was injured, implying that his nether region has lost a limb, if you will, and and he needs time off. And then all of a sudden we get Athena and Billy Starks. And this was my biggest takeaway of the show was, why hasn't Athena been on Dynamite like forever? This seemed like she was really, really great as a promo. And so was Billy Starks, just being her sidekick too. Like, this is a tandem that should have been on Dynamite week in and week out, and we are just getting it now. And so, like, she has some really star quality that, if you haven't seen her, might have forgot about. Like, she was great as Ember Moon, like, but we have not seen her on national television forever. It's been a while. And so she really made the most of this segment she had with Toni Storm. And I like her. I think she's awesome. So, I was upset that that Mercedes lost. I still don't really think it's the right move, because like, Mercedes just feels lesser than now because she went for the title and lost it. And she's like supposed to be one of your biggest stars in the company. Toni Storm's already one of your biggest stars in the company. So if Mercedes were to beat her, you wouldn't really think any different of Toni Storm. Now you think different of Mercedes Moné. So still have my reservations about that decision, but ultimately, like, I can get myself intrigued by this match, with this feud with Toni Storm and Athena going on. I think that's a good thing. And then next week we're getting Billy Starks and Toni Storm, which felt like a little rush. Like, it was immediately right, like literally immediately right after that segment, they announced that Billy Starks would be taking on Toni Storm next week. And that seemed like, oh, that's a little quick. Like, you could have made that announcement later on in the show or something, just to make it make a little bit more sense. But I think Cammy's adding some stuff here. But that is like, yeah, I think, why haven't we seen her? Why is it taking this long? It's hot. It's about time. As LeBron James would say, it's about damn time that Athena's on there. So Cammy makes a clarification that a girls group chat is not sex talk. So I figured, but you know, that's what the copy said. Athena was great. Yeah, Wrestling One was. Yeah, that's what I got friends at work, girlfriends that are at work, and like they're talking about drinking in group chats. So I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I don't know, in my group chats too, we just talk about guy group chats. We don't talk about sex. We talk about football, comedy, and like food. That's basically like our main content. Video games and making video game jokes. So that's kind of it. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't text anybody about sex. I don't sext. Let's see. Willie Thornborough says, I think Athena's got more to complain about than Bill Goldberg. What? Sure. I think but she hasn't. That's the thing. She hasn't complained. She's been awesome. She's been a good quote unquote soldier, I guess. And that's cool. That's but it's been frustrating, I think, as fans, because everybody knows how talented she was, and we're like, she's just on ROH and we never see her. And I literally forget about her. It's sad. So it's cool that she's finally here. Her and Billy Starks, they're gonna be a fun act. And yeah, I think they should have protected Mercedes a little bit more. Devin Dowling says, I was binging Returning to Amish all morning and forgot about R&I. How dare you, Devin? How dare you watch the Amish instead of this show? That's okay. Triple E said, one thing I didn't need to know if Dom's sex or not. I thought this was a PG program. I can say sexed. Yeah, I don't sext. I don't. Anybody else not watch wrestling because Big Brother or the ESPYs were on? I didn't watch those. I didn't watch any of that. What did I do last night? I had to do. I was sitting in with the Nash podcast, so I was watching that instead. But I, like I said, Devin, go to brassringmedia.com. I do a little daily hotline on what Shane Gillis had to say at the ESPYs and tie it into wrestling. So check it out. All right, let's carry on here. Kip Sapien, we had the patriarchy. No longer the patriarchy. It might be the matriarch now, because Mama Wayne has taken the reins here. And Nick Wayne cut a little bit of a promo. So did Kip. Said he wants to support his brother, not a patriarch, and alongside a matriarch. So these guys are on the same page. I like too how the announcers, Excalibur, kind of positioned it like Christian Cage created a monster here with this faction. So sets them up really well. They need something, though. I do think they need something. I like Nick Wayne. I think he's super talented and a future star for sure. But I do think they need something of this thing to make them feel not an afterthought of Christian Cage joining Cope. They need something to continue to bring them up as well. So I hope something gets done with that. Okada had a squash match here, and then called out Swerve. Swerve comes out, so it looks like we're going to get Swerve and Okada at some point or another, maybe Forbidden Door. And I thought this was good, made sense, and things like that. They're really leaning on the B word for Okada. Don't know how much that would be. Are they beating that over a little bit? Is that a little overdone? What do you guys think? Is Okada in the B term overdone? The female dog term overdone? He's good at delivering it. So is it a bad thing? I don't know. Ooh, I like this idea, Devin. See, now I like this thought. Jordan Oliver should be brought in with Wayne and reunite the indie team, East West Coast connection. I forgot they were a team together. See, that would be good. That'd be good. I'm not against that. Or you do get a big heater in there, like a name with Nick Wayne, a bigger name, like literally a big guy. I mean, I don't know who that would be necessarily, but that'd be cool to have. What if you had Paul White and Mama Wayne hook up? There you go. And then like you don't necessarily have Paul White wrestle, but he's there. I think that would help. You could do something like that. That's just off the top of my head. Then we had main event. Hangman Page, Mark Briscoe, and Powerhouse Hobbs taking on the Death Riders. John Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler with Marina at ringside. This was a fun match. You know, I thought the story of Mox being a little timid I liked, but I don't think it necessarily paid off. You know, like Page, they protected Claudio in a way. Like I don't think they wanted to pin Yuta again, so they had Claudio take the pin, but he didn't get. He reversed a buckshot lariat, but got like victory rolled up by Page, and that's how they got the win. And then everybody ganged up and beat up on Page, which prompted Darby Allin to show up. So, does it necessarily create like? I'm not like super whoa. What's next? It just seems like more Death Riders. Okay, Darby's back. We already saw Darby face the Death Riders, and like I just think this thing needs to end. It just got to end, please. I thought that's what All In was all about, was ending stuff that like you got some start of new storylines, but it didn't feel like a super duper new beginning for a lot of things either. I think, you know, you're missing, you had MJF and the Hurt Syndicate there, but they were just in a backstage segment. Hey, what happened with Bryan Danielson? He's not there. Like, not a lot of talk about that. And like Darby just shows up at the very end. So nothing, there's some new stuff happening when it comes to like, okay, Swerve and Okada. But who's next in line for Hangman? It just doesn't seem something big for him right now. Like you don't, and I think that's the unfortunate spot you put, you know, some of your top babyface talent in, is there's not a big heel threat. Like Moxley was it in name, but in execution, like it just felt like, oh man, he's got the title. Let's get it off him because this ankle stinks. So where do you go? Where do you go from here? There's a good song, by the way, of Vanishing Point, 1970 movie about a Dodge Challenger. A guy hopped up on speed. He drives a Dodge Challenger across the United States. And there's a song called Where Do We Go From Here? See if you can check it out. It's a good tune. But where do we go from here? I'm curious. Let's take a quick look at the dirt sheet headlines. If there's anything worth chatting about here. Let's see. Didn't watch the Unreal trailer. Kind of don't want to watch the Unreal trailer. I just don't think it's going to be on my radar to tune into. So, yeah, I'm not necessarily enthused by all that. You know, we got a lot of wrestling already to watch. I'm not like I don't think I'm gonna watch Unreal. I don't watch. That being said, though, I don't watch a lot of other wrestling products outside of Raw. Try to catch SmackDown from time to time, like highlights at the very least, and then Dynamite. So yeah, there we go. I did see Superman. I liked Superman. I gave it 8 out of 10 Triple E. Didn't see Jurassic World. I actually haven't seen a Jurassic Park movie since The Lost World, so the second one. I like Jurassic Park. I like the first one. Didn't like the second one. They ate a dog in that one. I'm not a fan, so I stopped. But then I feel kind of good that I stopped because they I guess they haven't been good really since the first one. Like that's literally the only movie. Just give me Jurassic Park, the first one. That's all I need. I think it was a great movie. I remember seeing that in theaters, actually. Do you guys remember the first movie you saw in theaters? I saw this on X yesterday, and somebody put it like All the Right Movies. It's called X account. I don't know. I like it a lot. They post some good like old school movie stuff that I appreciate. But they propose that question out there. What's the first movie you remember seeing in theaters? And mine, I had to Google just to make sure. It was Dick Tracy, 1990. Warren Beatty, Al Pacino. Al Pacino got nominated for an Oscar for that role. That was the first movie I remember seeing in theaters because it was either that or it was DuckTales, the movie. Well, I did my due diligence and saw that DuckTales came out later that summer. So that came out in August, DuckTales, the movie. And then Dick Tracy came out in June of 1990, where I turned 5 years old. So that's the first movie I remember seeing in theaters. Oh, Wrestling Old Head. I also remember seeing Home Alone 2 in theaters. Oliver and Company. Wow. Cammy. Let me take a look at when Oliver and Company. I remember getting that at the library, watching that, but that's a good one. Boy, that's 1988. You know, my parents might have took me to see that, but I just don't remember necessarily seeing it. What was the movie with the mouse? He had like a hat on. I know that's really non-descriptive, but he was like a poor Oliver Twist. It felt like that kind of hits my radar a little bit. I think my parents always told me that the first movie they ever took me to see in theaters was Land Before Time, but I don't remember actually being in the theaters for that. Land Before Time. Let's see what I remember getting the Pizza Hut dolls. So that was 1988 too. Was Land Before Time. So I would have been 3. I don't necessarily remember seeing that one in theaters though. No, it wasn't Stuart Little. Devin says Bridge to Terabitha. I was like 9, so it's got to be one before that, but that's the first I remember. Wow. Interesting stuff. Man, takes you back, right? Trying to think if did my parents take me to see Beetlejuice in theaters? I can't remember. I remember getting the Beetlejuice figures, the movie. This is my last Google here. That was 1988 too. So did they take me to see Beetlejuice when I was 3? I don't know. I remember getting the figures at toy stores. Don't necessarily remember if Fightful. Yes. That's the one movie I'm thinking of. Okay, I will do one more Google just to make sure. Fightful. Oh, An American Tail. An American Tail. Yes. That came out. Dom DeLuise is in that? 1986. Okay. Definitely don't remember seeing that in movies. I remember seeing that, getting it at the library maybe. Oh, yeah. I remember. I saw Ready to Rumble in theater. My first drive-in movie was War of the Worlds. I literally never went to a drive-in until War of the Worlds came out. So that was like when I was, I think, like a sophomore or freshman in college or something. War of the Worlds. He-Man. Wow. But yeah, there's some other movies I might have seen in theaters, but the first one I really remember was Dick Tracy. So there we go. And that'll do it for me. Went a little over time, but thank you everybody for tuning in. You can catch Rumor and Innuendo every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time on the WD Creative _ish X account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account, the at SE Scoops X account, on Rumor and Innuendo YouTube, on Ad Free Shows YouTube, and on Oh You Didn't Know YouTube. So be sure to tune into that tonight if you're around. 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be me and Rob Van Dam. We're going to go live. We're going to record a new episode of One of a Kind with RVD. Head to rvdtv.com. Do it right now. Hit like, hit subscribe, and join us live for a good discussion. We really take a lot from the live chat there too. So I think it's a great time. It's a great time. It's definitely a one-of-a-kind show with Rob Van Dam. So be sure to tune in tonight. We should have some fun things to discuss. I'll ask him a couple of questions, maybe the Goldberg stuff. I'll get some other questions brewed up pretty well too, I think, too. Ask about Adam Cole and stuff as well. So yeah, tune in. What's your question? So be sure rvdtv.com. Help us out. Hit subscribe, hit like. There's some Fonzie clips on there too. I've just started to be posting, so take a look at that. Rob and I will have a good time. Devin Dowling says, first hour is always great. Can't promise I'll stay awake for the second. Trying to smoke as much as RVD while watching smashes me, right? There's no way I could smoke while I was on there. I'm a novice when it comes to the THC, so I would totally freak out if I smoked with Rob on there. 100%. I'd have to leave. I'd leave the show for that night. I couldn't do it. But a lot of people smoke while they tune in. That's the fun thing about it. It gives people a time to chill and relax and ask some wrestling questions, and we talk about philosophical stuff too. So be sure to join us, rvdtv.com. I'm glad I'm really hammering that home because I need to promote it more. Working Stiff, I'm sure Robert and Scott will record an episode today, and I will have that posted when they do get it recorded. So be sure to check it out, and thank you all. I want to make sure Wrestling Hold It ad. I watched No Holds Barred on VHS. My mom walked in and was like, WTF, yes. I never watched it. I've seen the clips. I've never watched No Holds Barred in its entirety. Devin Dowling says his first date with his wife was Despicable Me 2 at the drive-ins. Oh, see, that's interesting. For the first date, I always try not to do a movie. I've never done a movie on the first date because I'm like, I want to talk and get to know the person. So I think it's kind of tough when you're got a movie there. And then at the same time, too, I'm of the mindset of like, what do I do here? Like, we're on a first date. I don't want to be too straightforward and do I hold her hand? Do I put my arm around her? How do I do? By the time a third date rolls around, I think a movie's good because then it's like, okay, you kind of get the lay of the land at this point. So boom, let's get comfortable. So BlueChew.com, promo code rumor. All right. See you tomorrow. It's going to be me, Robert, and Justin Barrasso tomorrow. So special Friday episode. So be sure to join us there. Get Justin's thoughts on what was a wild wrestling weekend this past weekend, and get his thoughts on a whole lot of other stuff. I believe he interviewed Cody Rhodes for the Boston Herald. I could be wrong on that, but I'll double check, and we'll ask him about that a little bit too. So always great to have Justin on. So be sure to check that out. And thank you all for tuning in. Magnum and Greg, got to text them today. I will. We might have an episode tomorrow, Triple E. I'll just make sure. But thank you all for tuning in. Best of luck in your future endeavors. And JETS, 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 Jets.